Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Manga Boy Manga Unboxing. Except this time, it's a manga haul. Wow, whoa. Yeah, that's right. Just like the title says, and just like it happens every week, we're back with another manga reading log. And we have 2, 3.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5. 9.5, 10.5, 11.5, 12.5, 13.5 mangas read this week. Holy moly. It's not even a world record. We did it. Let's start off with this one. It has a nice, fancy kind of 3D cover here. I don't know if you can see that it's raised there. This manga was very okay. It is a 7 C's volume. I got it because I was mildly interested in it. The main character is this girl with the short brown hair, and she's wildly in love with the villainess of this dating game, otome dating game. So, like the first few panels, she just randomly gets sucked in, to this gaming world as she's playing it for like the 300th time, and she memorizes everything about the game. And so she knows, that's cool, you can see the 3D print in the back. So she knows everything that's going to happen in it before it happens. She knows everything about these characters. So, the characters respond to her real time because, in this world they're living beings, they're not programs or anything like that. So it's interesting to see, the villainess's responses and the supposed princes who she's supposed to be dating responses when she's like blatantly not interested in them. It's okay. That's pretty much the best I can say about it. I really don't think that this is super great or anything like that. If it wasn't 7 C's, I probably wouldn't have even picked it up to begin with, but because what I always say, if you have a mild interest in something by 7 C's, you should probably pick it up just because otherwise it's going to go out of print if, by the time you wait for too many volumes to come out. So maybe it'll get a little better, maybe it won't. We will see. But yeah, so far it's just okay. Definitely I'm happy to read it. Not anything too special though, in my opinion, right now. Goblin Slayer, Volume 10. So Goblin Slayer, this is the 10th volume of it, okay? You guys already know what it's about. You read it right here. He's the Goblin Slayer, okay? He slays the goblins. So we pick up off where we started with the main characters, reaching their target who they needed to rescue. They find out, she was, of course, abducted by goblins and everything like that from the last one. And so this is the good stuff. We see what happens to her through some flashbacks. We get a few color pages at the beginning. We get to see them start to infiltrate the goblins and the cultist goblins and things like that. And then we also get to see them make a huge mistake. Goblin Slayer is sick. It always is sick. There is a crazy amount of violence in this one. This series as a whole always has a crazy amount of violence. Dismemberments, rape, pillaging, murder everywhere, just dismemberments. It's nuts what these goblins are capable of. So yeah, I really like this volume. This series as a whole is really good. You get to see some ingenuity here. For once, you get to see the goblins kind of, they have their little inventions, but you see one of their inventions, why it kind of sucks, is their goblins are too dumb to know what they're doing. So they copied this really good idea about the arrowheads being loose, so that way they get stuck inside people. However, what they didn't realize is if you're too far away, the arrowhead, because the arrowhead are so wobbly, the arrows won't fly straight, so they have shitty aim. So things like that's really cool to see, in this series. I always can't wait for the next one. I mean, I say that a lot about a few series actually these days, but this one is one that comes out, I don't know, maybe twice or three times a year. And so since I've been caught up on it, I mean, look at that blood. Oh my god, that's nuts, right? Since I've been caught up on it, I really feel so sad that I don't get to read more. I mean, this goes way past the anime at this point. I think the anime ended at like volume 4 or 5. So now we're twice as past. This would be like at the end of season 2, I suppose. Maybe even the last arc would have ended, and this would be the start of season 3. If you were interested in reading Goblin Slayer, but you didn't want to wait, for the what's it called, the anime, if it's even going to come back, I don't know. It got kind of some flack for how brutal it was, which, in my opinion, is a good thing to be criticized for. If it's too brutal, I'm there. That's cool. I'll extra watch it now. Next, Peach Boy Riverside. This is a series that I watched a few episodes of and I actually liked. This covers the first 2, maybe 2.5 episodes. I got this during the summer sale. I wish I got more. The opening, I don't think this was the same opening as the anime, but it opens with this guy right here showing up and no, I think it did open with this. But it opens up with him like finding out, that there's an ogre here, and so he wants to hunt the ogre. And once the guy catches an ogre, like, look at that, he just like gets this demonic face. And so once he figures out the ogre is there, he walks up to the ogre like totally fearlessly and just starts slaying him like a goddamn badass. He's got like a smile on his face and everything like that. Then he gets like blood all over him, and you see this like here. He looks so twisted and wicked. It's awesome. So then the princess is like, damn, I wish I went with him that day. And so she becomes an adventurer. But it turns out the princess also has that same kind of masochist/sadistic look where she just like can completely destroy ogres for some reason. There's not too much I know about this series, but I do really love this kind of duality to it where they just become these ruthless killers like out of nowhere. And like I can't wait to see more about it. I remember this was very popular when the anime came out, and that's why I wanted to wait for the manga, because I know what the second I hit the end of the season, I'm gonna be like, I need more, and then there's not gonna be any more. And so at least the anime, even though it's all at once, you have to wait longer for season 2. So if I get the manga, coming up by volume, then, I'll feel like I'm being served regularly for it. Next, I read Drifting Dragons, volume 7 and 8. The story and character development is continuing along. Again, this is a series where I'm starting to like it a little bit more, like I mentioned previously the last time I read it, but, it still isn't that great. I still don't see where the plot is really going. I do like the characterization, these characters, and I get it, it's like probably best to explain kind of like a Cowboy Bebop-esque manga where, like, they just go on different missions and journeys, and they just do, the thing. They just catch the dragon, and then they make the meat. I mean, it's a little repetitive for me because it's ultimately the same goal, whereas like Cowboy Bebop and other like outlaw manga/anime, they have different goals, so you don't really know how it's going to turn out. Like in this one, they're going to catch the dragon. And what are they going to do with the dragon? They're going to make a goddamn dish out of it. And what are they going to do with the rest of the dragon? They're going to sell it. So that's cool, but as you learn more and more about the characters, you start to kind of get more and more attached to them. I really still don't think that this is really worth picking up. The artwork is amazing, though. The characterization's pretty good. I just really wish there was more of a main